The big day today, mate. We are live on LinkedIn and we're live with Content Army as well. Super excited for this. We've been waiting to release this new business into the wild, and it's been probably 8 months in the making. Obviously, we've been operating now for the last 4 or 5 months with clients, very happy clients, I may add. And in today's session, we're going to show everyone what we've been working on, this new business model that we really think is a necessity in the B2B space in 2024, and a huge competitive advantage that if you're not investing in this, then you're going to be left behind or you're going to be at a significant disadvantage. So with that being said, I think you need no introduction, mate, but maybe do you want to take over from here? Tell anyone that anything you're thinking about?
Let's do it. I'm so excited for today. As you mentioned, this has been, I think you and I, we first got connected, I think like 2 or 3 years back, as sort of frenemies, if you will, at the time, and then getting to know you and now getting to be able to do this in a formal business setting with Content Army. I'm so excited to kind of be able to bring this to life. It's been 1 week post-launch, but I think we're also getting ready to share a lot of what we've been building with our clients. Also, I think offer some free advice for anyone just looking at content strategies in general. I think learning a better way of thinking about content marketing. But let's get into the presentation, man. I just want to get right into it and share a lot with the audience here. Can you pull up the slide deck? On my side, I can't seem to.
Absolutely, I'm going to add it to the stage. And for anyone watching, there will be a time for Q&A. So if you do have questions on building a content marketing strategy, anything to do with LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, myself and Blake will answer as much as possible at the end of the deck presentation. And as Blake said, this is not going to be a fully fledged sales pitch. Obviously, we're going to show you about the new business, but there will be a lot of golden nuggets that you can just extract and deploy yourself. There's no secrets here. We're just providing what we believe is a really solid offering and system to people. But if you want to implement it yourself, go ahead and do so. But it's much better to pay us. So without further ado, I'm going to add this deck to the stage and we'll jump right in.
Let's do it. Very cool. I want to preface as well. Anyone, everyone always asks, will I get a copy of the recording? Yes, you will get a copy of the recording if you're watching this. So we'll also be distributing this out post-event to everybody. But please, keep the questions coming as we start to jump in. We'll get to everything at the end. But we're here today to talk about how to build a world-class B2B marketing engine in under 1 hour a month. It's a pretty big promise, but I think we have a formula here at Content Army that we've been building out to show how this can come to life. And we also believe that we're in a huge state of change right now in the B2B landscape, how businesses grow. We're here in 2024, almost halfway through, this decade and looking at what's evolved, a lot of learning. So we want to start kind of with a little bit of who we are, why we created Content Army, talk about that current state, talk about why content today is falling flat for most businesses, and then talk about the new approach. Show you real examples, success stories, put our money where our mouth is. And then at the end too, as Adam mentioned, show you how to make this happen for your business, whether you choose to work with us or not. We want to make sure that we're providing a lot of value to the community. We're very value first people, and we practice what we preach here at Content Army. So talk a little bit about Content Army. Who are we if you haven't heard about us yet? We help scale thought leadership for busy entrepreneurs. And we're really focused on 3 core objectives or outcomes for our clients. It's first to generate higher quality leads through organic content, to help them to find a message market fit faster and with confidence. We talk a lot about product market fit and software, but message market fit is also just as important when you're thinking about content and resonating with that buyer. And then also helping our clients to build thought leadership, establish market dominance, build a moat around their business, and also to really be that go-to authority in whatever it is that they do. I'm going to introduce myself real quickly. If you don't know who I am, I'm Blake Imperl. I'm one of the co-founders of Content Army. I've been in the software as a service space for a couple of years now. I've worked at startups like Attentive, Wonderment, Caro, and now I'm the VP of marketing at Digio during the day. So I've been around this space for a while, former D2C marketer, coming into the software side of things to be able to, I think, to bring a different approach to content. But Adam, kick it over to you, man. Who are you?
Yeah, so not in an arrogant way, but I don't think I need any introduction to most of the people in this event. Obviously, I know most people on LinkedIn through content marketing, and just to set the stage as to why we built this business and why I reached out to you, Blake. Over the last 5 years, obviously, I've been building a email, SMS retention agency, whatever you want to call it these days. And this was done almost exclusively from inbound lead generation through content marketing. And not just the email marketing questions I used to get asked all the time. Most people used to usually come to me and say, actually, how do you create so much content? How do I get started marketing on LinkedIn or Twitter? And how do you generate such a high content velocity? And for me, it's always been really simple. Writing came naturally. And I am very passionate about teaching other people how to get started with content marketing, because we were able to build Magnet Monster into a Klaviyo Elite agency in under 5 years, almost exclusively through content marketing and organic as well. So we've done a tiny amount of paid ads, got no results. We did cold email, we got no results. We've had a little dabble of other types of marketing strategies. We've got very limited results. So we doubled down on what we were really great at, which was content marketing. And that's not to say these other strategies don't work, but this is what's worked really well for us and what I'm passionate about teaching other people. And critically, it's an amplifier to all those other strategies. So I know you're going to talk, Blake, about things like ABM, cold email, other commonplace in the SaaS B2B world. If you're backing that up with a content machine in the background, that's really a great enabler for increasing the efficiency of these other sales strategy. Why? Because you already have credibility and brand awareness, so that when you do go in and deploy these types of tactics, you have more familiarity with who you are and more credibility in your sales marketing pitch. So that's why we essentially came to Content Army, because it got to the point where there was so many people saying, how do you generate so much content? I would tell people the exact systems and strategy that I used at Magnet Monster to generate such a high content output. And then lo and behold, 2 months down the line, I would say to these people, where's your content? I taught you everything I know. And they would say, yeah, it's actually much more difficult than I thought. I haven't got the time. I don't know what to say. I'm scared. I don't know how to create the content and generate resources for this. And then I was like, okay, maybe I need to scratch an itch. There's something more to this. If people are struggling that much to reap the benefits of it, then maybe there's a business we can make out of this. And then obviously, Blake, I know you have been creating a huge amount of content for a long time. And that's when I've reached out, we've started chatting, one thing led to another, and here we are today.
And I think that's, man, I discovered you through the content that you were promoting out at the time. I think it was 2020, and getting to see that and inspired me a lot. I was kind of early in my journey, I think, as well, and building personal brand, but also actually impacting the companies that I was working at. I've sort of assumed like the chief evangelist role on the software side. So you've come from this, entrepreneurial agency side, and me sitting on the other side of that, more venture-backed software. I think we both straddle, both kind of sides of the coin of the clients that we're trying to serve here at Content Army that we already are. But being at, a unicorn company like Attentive, other, SaaS companies like Wonder, Macaro, now Digio, I've always seen, channels like social and some of the other organic content channels as sort of like those, first to kind of be getting to find message market fit, to be able to build credibility in the space that you're serving, whether that's with your partner community, whether that's driving leads, whether that's just finding that message market fit. I've really used social as that way to be that chief evangelist for my companies. And I know a lot of people talk a lot about, we want the founder to be on social. We're having such a hard time getting our company to be bought in, resharing our social posts from the company page. All of these like big mistakes and missed opportunities that we're seeing on the software side. But I've really taken a different approach, coming from a D2C marketer, now going to companies that serve D2C marketers, taking that content first, value first approach with my content and building trust before you even ask for a sale. What we've seen time and time again through a lot of what I was doing, even at like Attentive is a great example. Is just putting Attentive in a little bit of a different light, I think, in the community, and a lot of that value first kind of content, whether that's speaking, organic content, all the things. We're going to walk through all that, but I just want to say, like, this is something that I definitely have seen on the software side, just as you're saying, on the agency side. This really can work if you have buy-in, and this is also a little bit difficult if you don't have buy-in. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit now now we talked about ourselves and why Content Army, but let's talk about the state of B2B marketing right now. So much has happened, so much has changed. The wells of free VC money have sort of dried up for a lot of software companies, and a lot more bootstrap companies now as well are facing even more competitive headwinds. This has been email, cold outreach, cold email, whatever you want to call it, has been one of the most effective ways from the early 2000s up until I'd say the mid 2010s for people to grow their business. But what we've seen now is a sort of like desperate clinging on, I think, to people just thinking that cold email still is really working. And I think being a little bit over, I think opinionated that, it still will work if you just send enough emails. This idea of mass blast, everyone's going to get an email. You're going to pull a list of 40,000 accounts from store leads, and you're going to be able just to cold email everyone, and they're all going to want to use your software. Buyers see through this. Everyone doesn't want their inbox to be flooded. My inbox as a VP of marketing, week over week, I should say, it's probably about 2 to 3 dozen emails from people who I have no intention of opening their emails. That go straight to spam. I don't open them. I get angry, honestly, when I see cold emails come through that are very unpersonalized. They clearly don't know who I am. They're just trying to get a sale. There's no value. I don't know who they are. But you see these, whether it's on the software side, these large SDR teams just, having numbers to hit, or, people who just really think that if they continue to send emails, people will open. This is not working. It hasn't worked for a long time. And I think there's a lot of reasons why it's not working. But I think the biggest one is that just the buyer doesn't resonate with cold email. And I think that's the cold hard facts, honestly, about cold email. This is another strategy that has taken a lot for, more venture-backed companies, but companies who just have the money and the budget to spend, gifting to take a meeting, whether that's a pair of AirPod Pros or whether that's a Starbucks gift card or anything gifting-wise. This is also not the way, I believe, to build trust with the buyer, to go after higher value buyers and someone who really is buying for the right reasons. Someone who's taking a meeting for a gift, maybe they just want that gift. They have no intention of buying, or maybe they're going to buy and churn in a month, or whatever the case is. You're not, again, leading with the right value. And also, this gifting strategy is not tenable for a lot of companies. At a Magna Monster, I don't know if you guys had, $50,000 every quarter to go off and gift for clients. That's probably not the case, I would imagine. Similarly, for a lot of companies, they don't have this luxury. But again, this is also really not the way to scale and sustain a business, but we're still seeing this happen here in the current state of B2B marketing. Another one that I think is really happening right now, and we're seeing the after kind of shock of it, is paid influencer strategies, whether that's, influencers within your given industry, whether that's paid placements on podcasts or newsletters or random things here and there, whatever that is. Sponsored content does have a place if there's true value and the person that you're sponsoring does use that software. But what we've seen is that a lot of times, it's a cash grab for a lot of these people, and good on them. If they're making money off of these VC-backed companies or companies that want to pay for these influencers to promote their products. But what we're hearing again and again is dwindling returns through this. Buyers see through this. Their credibility, whoever's in their audience, really isn't that credible when people aren't actually taking action on these paid influencer placements. Again, this is not really the way to build value unless there is that mutual better together story, which often isn't the case when we think about paid influencer strategies. Scaling via paid is also not sustainable for a lot of companies. Customer acquisition costs are always fluctuating. Paid ads are always fluctuating. And again, not every business has the luxury of spending huge amounts on acquiring a customer and making that up on the back end. If the LTV of a customer they know is X, but the CAC to repayment is not, being able to churn out within a customer actually being a paying customer, paid is not a great way to scale a brand. And again, also isn't attracting probably the highest quality buyers. When we think about who is really engaging with paid ads, I don't click on paid ads most of the time. I run paid ads for my own business. They're not the biggest part of our paid strategy or our overall content strategy, I should say. So paid is not the way to, I think, go all in on, maybe like it was 10 years ago when ads were much cheaper and also a little bit more green ocean, I think, a blue ocean for a lot of companies. Let's talk a little bit about companies that are winning right now, though. A lot of doom and gloom, but I think there's a lot of really good right now. And so what we've been focusing on at Content Army, what we believe in, what we're seeing, companies who are investing in organic content right now are really winning big. Content is marketing, marketing is content. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. You need to be doing organic content. And I think you need to have the lens that this is going to benefit your sales cycle, your awareness in your actual marketing funnel, your customer success and your actual retainment of your customers. Organic content truly is the 1 + 1 = 3 scenario, I believe, for a lot of companies. Founder brand is also on the rise right now. Any scroll on LinkedIn, any scroll on Twitter, any social platform, you'll see Adam Robinson, Chris Walker, any founder, insert name here. You're starting to see more and more that companies are relying less on the company persona and more on the people behind the brand, the founder behind the brand. It's no surprise Adam Robinson and Retention have scaled this business exceptionally fast and made a name for themselves in a very short window of time that might have taken the business 10 to 20 years, back in maybe the early 2000s. Adam's been able to do this really fast with great organic content, building his founder brand. Chris Walker, similar. Again, any founder, insert name here, very similar stuff. So a lot of companies know now that founder brand is the right way to be able to think about a content strategy. But it's, again, as Adam mentioned at the beginning of this call, it can be difficult if you don't have the roadmap to figure that out. I want to talk a little bit about some of why your content is falling flat now. Building founder brand, as I mentioned, is difficult. It doesn't scale internally. Often that founder is working across a ton of different things. If you're on the software side, maybe they're in product, they're in CS, they're in sales, they're in marketing, they're in, raising money for the business, maybe even too. On the, more bootstrapped or agency side of things, maybe they're, working across all the different functions. So to sit down and create content is probably like the 10th thing on their list. And it can be really difficult to do and be repeatable. Adam was mentioning at the beginning of the call too, teaching the systems, but then 2 months later, they haven't acted on it. It can be really difficult for a founder to sit down, create that content, or even build a team around them that can carry out these tasks and scale it. It is a big challenge. Also, another common theme that we see a lot is that content is being owned by a freelancer and or a junior marketer. Content is marketing, marketing is content. Again, on that theme, the whole business needs to be bought in that content is a true go-to-market channel for the business. Pawning this off to someone on Fiverr or a freelancer, while there might be a time and a place for those types of things, to put your entire content strategy in the hands of a freelancer or someone who really doesn't have the experience and the knowledge that the founder might possess, I believe is putting your business at risk. And we see this a lot when businesses say, hey, our leads aren't closing at a good enough rate. They're not closing fast enough at the high enough contract value that we want. Quality is down, all those things. A lot of that stems from the content, to be quite honest. And so this is a big common mistake that we see a lot. Another really big no that we see a lot is that your content is 100% sales driven and doesn't lead with value. There's a lot to pull from on this, but I think the biggest takeaways that I have is if your content is just asking for a sale at every single possible corner with CTAs everywhere to book a demo and to, hey, like, we don't really care about if you don't use our software, you can't learn anything here. Content that really does resonate with a buyer can offer them something even if they don't take action that same day. We're always passively consuming content when we scroll social feeds, when we check our email, when we see paid ads, any of these things that we're seeing, we're always passively consuming content. And so what really can happen in, I think, a really dangerous cycle is that businesses focus way too much on the sale. They're not casting an awareness net. So when they actually have an audience that they want to build, they're way too narrow in scope and they're missing out on the bigger market, the bigger opportunity. So leading with value, as Adam mentioned, with what a lot of he did with Magnet Monster, really is, I believe, the better way to think about building value first, and then people naturally will take action. No one cares about, I believe, if they want to book a demo, if they want to get in touch with you, they will find the way. But what is difficult is actually bringing up value where they want to stay. And so we always focus with our clients, value first, ask second. The other problem that we see a lot is message market fit. I talked about this at the beginning, but this is what we help our clients find. Product market fit obviously is, does your product have enough demand for the ICP that you're trying to serve? But message market fit within content can be a big reason why no one's reading your content, consuming your content, watching, whatever it is. This instantaneous feedback loop of social is one of the most beautiful inventions that we have. When we think about an SEO strategy, it might take 6 to 12 months to find out if it actually even worked with the keywords you were targeting. But if you post on social, that same day, you're going to have feedback around, hey, did what we say resonate? Okay, this did resonate. Let's go double down here more on our on-site content or in a webinar or whatever we want to do there. Or, hey, like no one resonated with this. We probably shouldn't go spend, $100,000 on this campaign over the next year based upon the feedback that we're getting on social. So if you don't have message market fit, I truly believe you shouldn't be investing a ton of your time and money into content efforts that, again, might not actually benefit your overall organic growth that you're looking to achieve. ABM, I talked about cold email, outbound, whatever you want to call it. Again, this is a really big strategy a lot of people have taken into. And one of the biggest reasons I believe that cold email is dead is that a lot of companies have zero awareness with the buyer or the person that they're reaching out with the first time an email hits that inbox. So a lot of what I talked about earlier with the content, meaning, hey, we're going to lead with all sale, no value. If a buyer doesn't know who you are, they haven't seen you, and you're asking them to buy something, take a meeting, free AirPods, whatever it is, all those things, the conversion rate is going to be really, really low. So a lot of what we see companies do are actually still doing cold email, but doing it really well. They are leading with a lot of value. They have great market awareness. They're on channels like social. They're building trust with a buyer. By the time they reach that inbox, there's some semblance of who this company is. And it's a much better conversion rate as a result. Also, another reason, companies social. So a lot of how companies distribute out content is through their company social. This is one of the biggest mistakes that we see when a company only posts from their company social. And there's a couple of reasons here, but social platforms across every platform, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc., they all benefit the personal profile. These companies want their users to be posting from their personal profiles. And when we look at the reach metrics from our own experience and what the data shows, the reach on a personal profile can be 10 to 40x higher, just upon the social reach that you have, the audience, the following. And so when a founder is not posting content on their personal profile, it's a huge missed opportunity. If you look at your followers on your company's social, it's probably nobody who wants to do business with you. It's probably partners or random freelancers or whoever it is. But the actual potential buyers of whatever it is that you do, they might be connected to your founder or someone at the company who works and might be distributing out the content. So not including people who are at your business and your overall social strategy, it's one of the lowest hanging fruits, regardless if you work with us or not. You should be doing this today. So who's winning right now? Adam, I want to actually pass it over to you on this, man, because I've painted a lot of the trends, but give us some good news, man. Who's winning right now?
Well, I think, again, just to touch on a lot of those points, Blake, it's nothing against any of these strategies, whether it's cold email, whether it's paid ads. It's that content increasing the efficiency of other strategies that have typically been the default playbook that are, quite frankly, so much harder to win at right now, because we are in that era of mass commoditization and AI. And that's leading to a huge volume of generic messaging going through to the target buyer. And it's just so much more difficult to cut through. So as you've pointed out here, being able to speak the language of the customer is just a massive one-up on the competition, and having that founder-led approach. So becoming that thought leader within the industry. I know it's a bit of a buzzword and some people think it's fluffy, but it's essentially just being front and center and having a presence. People think that you have to spend a huge amount of time, fly all over the world, do events, and it's a distraction to running the company. Quite the contrary, it can be very complementary to a lot of the activities that you're already doing and be a great amplifier. So don't see it as, oh, fuck me, I've got to create some content. No, this is making you a lot more efficient at driving the company forward, hitting these growth targets, because you're increasing the efficiency overall. And like you pointed out here, You're building trust, and I'll cover this in the next slide, by delivering value without expecting a sale. This is absolutely critical. So if we just skip to the next slide, I want to touch on something that I think is just so crucial here. So I'm not going to keep banging the drum on this, but founder-led content anchored to storytelling and personal expertise is just a huge competitive advantage. You've seen Adam retention, Ronak even at Obvi, he's making a B2B play. There's lots of other examples. Chris Walker, Refine Labs, amazing story as well. A lot of these people are primarily leading with value, not sales collateral. So as you said, it's not that same tired scripted playbook of why don't you book a demo, or can I give you a gift card in return for showing you the product. They're giving away selflessly because they're realizing as well that we are in that mass era of commoditization, and there's a lot of no-code movements that's enabling people in SaaS even to have a lower barrier to entry. So it's not just things like D2C with manufacturing and how that changed China. And now community is becoming a big player in content, even in D2C as a differentiator. It's also the same in SaaS as well, because the barrier to entry is a lot lower. There's a lot of great talent available. There's tools that will even write code for you now. So how are you going to stand out? Well, you're going to have to provide great service complementary to the actual SaaS as well. So one of the best ways to do that is by creating useful content that complements your actual product, not just selling directly to people. And then another question that we get asked all the time, Blake, is, well, what should I post? What type of content? Okay, I'm sold on it, but what should I actually get started with? I don't like to be on video. I struggle to write. The truth is, yes, you should write or record specifically for the platform, but don't overthink it. A range of media formats work best. Video is great for some people. Just writing is great for some. They're better with copy. You can create swipe files. It doesn't matter, as long as you're just consistently showing up on any of the channels and trying to deliver value. That's enough. So don't overthink what actual content that you should be producing. Just showing up is half the battle. And then another thing I think people overlook is that you talk about methods like cold email and paid ads. They're very transient. Once the email's gone out, if someone ignores it, it's gone. The opportunity's gone. Who's going to troll through their inbox and look for a cold email? It's the same with a paid ad as well. Someone clicks on it, goes, okay, you can retarget them, whatever, or you can show them another ad. Very expensive to keep sending to those people over and over again. With content, it compounds over time. Those assets live on. So the investment that you make today is still there tomorrow. And I've experienced this a lot with Magnet Monster and how I do sales. When I'm doing things like audits or trying to close prospects, I'm sending through a lot of the articles, videos, and content that I've created historically. These are articles that go back as far as 3-4 years ago. And people are saying, wow, I really like how you think about something. And I'm able to do that because I've got such a deep repository that has really built a moat around our company and helped us fend off a lot of the competition. So absolutely critical to think of this as a long-term investment. Don't post today and say, oh, nobody contacted me. Why didn't I do no sales? Content doesn't work like that. It has a compounding benefit over time, and you have to be in it for the long term. So really important to get your mindset right before investing in content. I think that's absolutely critical. So let's share a little bit about how this business model actually works and where Content Army comes into the picture. So we thought long and hard about this, and we realized that there's a few bottlenecks that people have to actually getting started. Time, not knowing what to create, systems, resources, all valid reasons. We took a look at the landscape. We spoke to so many people who we wanted to start creating content and just figured out, okay, what's preventing them from actually getting started? And then we built our business around solving these challenges. And very important to note at this point, Content Army is not a crappy ghostwriting service. And this is another big friction point for founders as well. They don't want people to have a cheap, inauthentic voice for quite really senior people, super intelligent people. They don't want to be putting out shit on social because it reflects badly on them and it can harm the brand image. So we didn't want to create this type of ghostwriting company that undermines what they're trying to achieve with content. And a lot of the other services out there, with all due respect, are going down this route, and it's just not cutting through. Our business model is actually, we're going to get you to create the content in a way by enabling you to articulate your thoughts through a 1-hour video interview each month. And we're asking questions around what your ICP is looking for. And I've said so many times on social, this is the content strategy. The problems that you solve for your ICP is what the audience wants to hear from you. That's your expertise. That's what you should be writing about, recording about. You should be answering these problems on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And that's going to be the great sales enabler that will not just help you close more deals, but entrench yourself in the minds of the buyer because you're leading with value and you already have the solution ready for them. And then what we're doing from that video transcript is we're creating the content for you, but really you've created the content yourself. We're just helping amplify what you've already articulated. And I just want to pause on this point as well, because it's not just about selling. The great thing and the beauty of content is that it's helping you articulate, like you said before, Blake, that message market fit. You're really articulating and thinking about where you stand in your category and positioning yourself as the solution. That is a very underrated benefit of creating content each day, is it helps you refine and bring clarity to your positioning and the problems that you solve for your ICP. Once all that's said and done, and we do the heavy lifting, then we go ahead with the distribution side. So obviously we've got LinkedIn, we've got Twitter, we've got YouTube Shorts. There's many distribution channels. Everybody knows what they are. And over time, that compounding effect sets in. So you're building credibility in the minds of the ICP. And these assets are always there. They're evergreen. So super, super powerful. And a simple system that it really is no bullshit. In 1 hour per month, we can create this fully fledged system for you. And it's authentic. It's not crappy, ghost-written content. It comes from you. We're just a great enabler that amplifies what you're giving us.
I think to add on to that as well, one of the things that was really important to me, and I know it's you, Adam, when we were sitting down to figure out this framework, it's exactly what you said. We didn't want the conveyor belt and, hey, like, we're just going to put you through this and it's going to be a bunch of generic content that, just checks the box that you're doing something. We really wanted to actually figure out, how can we be an extension of your team, help you to be able to bring to life everything that you want to say as a company, as a founder. We have the experience from being at agencies and SaaS companies who have been doing this at a high level, and to be able to help our clients do that. I think that's one of the biggest value adds that we think about adding, is not even just what you see here, but it's actually all the different benefits that this then happens from doing this 1 hour interview, all the different things that benefit externally, of course, with growing your business, but even to helping you as the business to refine and think about how you're going to position yourself, having this kind of really bespoke, custom kind of content strategy that fits exactly what you're trying to do. And then over time, iterating on that and being able to be agile as well. I mentioned the instantaneous feedback loops of social. This is one of the coolest things that we're seeing out in the wild now, is actually like being able to help our clients to hit their business goals across, various functions of where they're at in their business, but letting content kind of lead that approach forward. I just think it's a whole new way of thinking about going to market as a B2B business. And it's a really exciting opportunity for us to help, I think, our clients here at Content Army.
Absolutely. And it's shocking, as you've got a deep SaaS background, Blake, and you've worked at massive companies who have seemingly infinite resources, or you would think they do. And how many of these companies just struggle to create one post for LinkedIn? It's actually shocking. And that is why we exist as well. We want to give confidence to these companies to get themselves out in the wild. And it's just crazy for me, incredulous actually, to think that these companies, with all the resources they have and all the expertise as well, this is the travesty I keep talking about, super smart people. I'm not the smartest person in email, there's so many more intelligent people than me that I've spoke to just working over the years. I'm just a guy who puts myself out there all the time. And I think it really is a travesty that these other people don't, because I want them to get the benefits that I've had. And there's a lot of smart people out there just not selling themselves correctly.
100%, man. 100%. Let's move it forward, man. We talked a lot about all the things. Why don't we walk through some examples, show people what great truly looks like across different channels here now?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got an amazing in-house team, everything from design, account executive, copywriting. We've been doing this a long time, so it's nothing new to us. A lot of people have asked us, well, what type of creatives do you make? We optimize specifically for the channel. We're looking at that interview transcript that we capture, and then we're generating the best creatives from that we think will resonate best with your target audience. So you can see a quick example here from Wonderment. I think it's very sexy, have to say so myself. Hope everybody agrees. But the point is, it's not just great looking content, it's actually value-led content that comes directly from you. So if you like the look of what you're seeing on the screen, in under an hour per month, we can generate these types of creatives for you. Another one here, you can see Josh, great client of ours. Also a competitor of Marketing Monster, so we're not averse to working with people in the same industries as us. Any agency within B2B, and obviously another one here with Elastic Path, SaaS, or definitely people we can help a lot. And you've seen a lot of carousels here, a lot of beautiful imagery. Obviously, we do have a deep repository of video content that we're giving to clients. We can't actually show it on the screen here for obvious reasons, but it's not just carousels for LinkedIn, right, Blake? We're doing video, we're doing static image, we're doing long form copy, we're doing tweets, we're doing Twitter threads. We're giving a massive amount of content from that interview. So don't just look at this in a silo. It's not just about LinkedIn carousels. We will optimize for the channel, but most importantly, we'll give the most value-driven content from that initial interview that we do with the client.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a couple of thoughts to add on to this as well. So as Adam, you mentioned, like, we're not just doing the carousel content, it's the whole gambit of what you can run on social, having that well-rounded, you're showing up every day with unique, interesting content that helps break the pattern, I think, also too, in what you're used to seeing as well. Stopping the scroll, getting someone's attention. Like, we're very hook driven here at Content Army, very much focused on like, what can we do to get someone's attention? Think about an ad. Like, that's the same way that we think about this, but then all the things that follow down, we can't show all the different, even carousel images here within some of these with Elastic Path, with Wonderment A and B, all of our clients, but like, we're really focused on like a narrative across this. So when you're passively scrolling social, you're learning as you go, you're seeing this company in a different light. These are the things that really make a big difference. But I think also what's really interesting about this too, like, let's pull back to some of the trends here, thinking about like what I was painting the scenario of what isn't working right now. But like, we think about the other side of this, a company that might still want to run paid ads, might be actually then sponsoring some of this really great content that's on social. The video content, the ad carousels, any of those things, even sponsoring the founder's text post, whatever that is. But being able to take that to a whole different way of thinking about social as a channel. The other side of this too is all the different people at your business now maybe sharing this content, showing, in this case, Elastic Path with the story with Fibrel, like stuff like that of actually, hey, here's something that we did that's awesome, and we're going to evangelize this now. That is huge. Additionally,
100%, like nailed it. Like case studies. Oh my God, how many people have got great results for their clients, but they can't even conjure up the resources to create a case study? Tell us about it, and we'll help you with the creative and the distribution as well. It's just such an obvious low-hanging fruit. And I can tell you personally, the amount of people that said to me, how do you create these case studies, these basic carousels for Marketing Monster? Well, obviously, there's a lot that go into delivering great work for the clients, but if all clients are able to just tell us the results they've got, we can help with great marketing collateral by creating beautiful creatives for them that demonstrate the results that they've got. And again, it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. It's just get on the video, tell us about the results, and then if we've got the assets, we'll go ahead and turn it around. And it's leading with value, and it's generating a lot of leads. I can tell you personally, if you're able to get these case studies out into the wild. I mean, another one here, Brian, I'm proud of this because We're helping people showcase the results who otherwise just wouldn't talk about great work that they're doing with their clients. So it's another bottleneck and point of friction that people don't seem to be able to get past. And I'm proud that we're actually helping people, far from myself, especially in the email space, talk about the results that they're getting for their clients.
It's absolutely amazing to see, someone like Josh, at AMB, like, he came to us, wanting to be consistently sharing his unique views about the space. Such a smart and intelligent person, but super busy and just didn't have the time to be able to sit down and do all these things, talk about all the great wins that AMB is doing for their clients, seeing, but also to their unique views on the space. It's been so cool to look at Josh's social profile. I encourage everyone to go look at Josh's profile and see where he was at. I think you'd be okay with us saying this, but see where he was at, maybe 5-6 months ago to where he's at now. Josh wasn't posting before, kind of sitting on the sidelines, but having all these unique views and thoughts about the space, and then coming to us and helping him to be able to bring actually all that out and through content. He's getting a lot of attention now in the space from really, I think, prospects, number one, but also two, all the different partners that do business with Josh, like the Clavios, like the Sendlanes, etc. Like, there's a huge multiplier effect here by just being present every day with valuable stuff, like we were just showing right there. And I think one of the other things that I didn't say, but I wanted to add on to that as well, was that within all of the different content mixes that we talked about here, we talked a lot about social, but one of the things that we're also thinking about and adding a lot of value for our clients as well is that from this 1 hour interview, there's so much that can come. We're exploring right now with, as you mentioned, maybe on-site content with case studies, newsletters that could come from this, a lot of the other funnel stuff that we can build from this. This 1 hour interview being so focused and so pointed, there's just so much content that we can pull from as well, that we're helping to bring value to our clients, even outside of a channel like social. So really, this is, I believe, a much more focused way to create content that actually resonates rather than checks a box, so to speak, with a lot of, I think, how content strategy has been thought of on the organic side for businesses.
And Josh said something fascinating to me actually the other day. I hope he's fine with me sharing this, but he said that one of the reasons he's investing in content is because he wants to speak at events. And I was like, yes, that is another great use case for creating content. Creating content will get people asking you to come on podcasts. It will get people who run events reaching out to you, asking for you to be a speaker, and also paying for your flights, accommodation, drinks, food whilst you're there. So it's not just about, yes, great marketing, sales, collateral. Becoming that thought leader, quote unquote, gives you a lot of really cool opportunities and partnerships as well. That's another one, Blake, I didn't mention. Now, obviously, when I built Magnet Monster, or building Magnet Monster, it was predominantly done on content, but also the partnerships that I've been able to build on the SaaS front. And I'll come to Wonderment in a second. And also other fellow agencies who passed Magnet Monster leads. That's been a result of me creating content. And I think if you ask, not to toot my own horn too much, I think I've driven a lot of business for Wonderment as well by promoting them and being an advocate for them. And obviously, I know we've worked directly together now, but this is another benefit for creating content that people don't look at in the short term. It's all about, well, how many leads does it drive today? Well, you became an international keynote speaker. You're being invited to events. You're on podcasts now. You've got more partnerships, more great reasons to invest in content.
100%, man. I want to pull back to Brian at 100 Celsius for a second too. One of the things that within the agency vertical at least, and there's definitely B2B, SaaS use cases as well for this, but like somebody like Brian, who clearly is, I believe, a true thought leader in the subscriptions D2C space. There are all these companies who are looking for thought leaders to kind of anchor themselves to with credible content, like the subscription platforms, for example. And for Brian to really cement himself as that kind of authority in the space, there's a lot of business benefit for him potentially with these other companies as they see Brian's truly like the go-to resource, putting out great content. So even the business opportunities he might be getting as a result of that are significant. And I think you can't really quantify that in a 1 month window. Like, this is a multiplier effect. Similarly, without you at Magnet Monster, with the Wonderments and some of the other technology partners that you work with, I mean, that content and being out there is a big, I think, sort of gets the attention of the companies in a way that you just otherwise wouldn't. As a SaaS marketer myself, I'm looking for people like Brian all the time who are true evangelists to be able to, promote and win together, honestly. So like there's a lot of benefit, not even just like growing your business directly, but like indirectly through partners as well, and the visibility that offers you. Huge benefit if we're talking on the agency side of the house. And that's just one use case of many, truly, with content like this.
You're right. I mean, SaaS companies will court you almost too much. They will incessantly invite you to become they will want to develop partnerships with you. It's another great unlock. You'll get preferential treatment from SaaS companies if you're an agency owner creating a lot of great content. It's true. Interestingly, you bring up Brian. Now, Brian is a great use case. He has changed his positioning from email, SMS, retention agency to D2C subscriptions. And if I don't say so myself, I think working with us has really helped him articulate and refine that pivot in his business. So this goes back to what we were saying before. If you're creating content, it's also helping bring clarity into the value that you actually give to your clients. And as an example, no bullshit, this is 100% true. I was running OKRs with some of our team the other day, last week, and one of our strategists said to me, who's working with subscription businesses, well, I really want to level up my knowledge of subscriptions. I follow this guy on LinkedIn called Brian Stark, and he creates great content. He doesn't have a clue he's a client of ours. And I was like, yes, that's what you want. Not someone who necessarily will buy from him, but again, you're really entrenching yourself in the market as that default thought leader. So if you want to release digital products, which I've done again at Market Monster, I've sold to marketers who aren't necessarily clients for us, but becoming that thought leader, quote unquote, will allow you to expand your total addressable market and find new revenue sources as well. So another great use case for creating content.
100%, man. Couldn't agree more. I think there's so many benefits. We're just touching the surface. I truly believe, like we talked about at the top of the hour, helping to drive new sales pipeline, to be able to find message market fit and ultimately build a moat around your business. I think that third one, the moat around your business, sort of is like the great kind of like multiplier of what content can unlock, because when you have that moat, you are seen as someone who's credible and authoritative in your space. It just affords you so many more opportunities, but staying consistent with this, I think that's the theme, as well as like, that's where you get the wins. It's sort of like sitting down to write every day and what that benefits you as, your thoughts and who you are. Like we try to bring that out in that 1 hour format. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about Content Army is that, this to some businesses listening might be, hey, this is untenable for us. But if you can do it in an hour and stay consistent and bring value every day, that's a big, big value add to the go-to-market for any business. You want to talk about Wonderment for a second, Adam?
Yeah, so we've been working with Wonderment for the last 4 months. Obviously, I come from an agency space. You come from, well, you've been in an agency as well, Blake, and I are in a SaaS. Same story, right? Like, no, it's important to create content, don't know the systems, haven't invested the time, haven't got the resources in-house. Quite frankly, just don't know where to start. And Jess and Brian, who people will obviously know now because they're posting more actively, classic examples, right? They're great clients for us, really intelligent people, just not reaping the benefits of actually putting themselves out there on a consistent basis. And it's not just about selling the new features of the product, it's about leading with value. And they're just great examples of people who've really took to what we're actually saying here and being advocates for it. And they've obviously created a massive amount of great video content, especially that helps them cut through and stand out in their target market. So yeah, again, whether it's an agency founder or it's a SaaS, we're very well positioned to serve both, and not just D2C as well. I know we have a D2C background, e-commerce, but we can help other companies within the B2B space. It's all about modern marketing and selling, if you like, as well.
100%, man. I think we've covered so much ground here in the last 50 minutes or so. But I think it'd be good to kind of summarize everything, kind of like the top takeaways. And, if folks did nothing else, Of course, I hope get in touch with us if you're interested. There's the website link right there, contentarmy.agency. Check out some of our case studies, some of our example content. We didn't have time to dive through all the different mediums that we offer, but also get a better flavor of like how we can help outside of what we talked about today. But Adam, if folks did nothing else from today's conversation but one thing, what would you say that one thing should be?
Write down 50 problems that you solve for your target audience, or write down 10 and try and say it in 50 different ways. And just start practicing the art of writing every day or recording just for 10 minutes and articulate the problems that you solve. That is the content strategy. There's no great secret to this. We're just helping with the systems, the resources, the time, and obviously, yes, bringing our expertise of walking the walk with this. But I just encourage everyone, whether they work with us or not, to just start exercising those writing muscles or the speaking muscles and creating content, because every day that you don't, it's like investing. You're missing out on that compounding benefits over time.
Yeah, I think that's took the words out of my mouth. Honestly, I think that there's no better time today than to start, even if it's small, chunks of time that can have a big difference. And I think even one of the other things too, I really believe, as I painted, I think on the B2B trend side and what we're seeing across, from my side of view on, point of view on the software side, but like really in general, I think what we're seeing in the marketing kind of industry overall is that like organic content has always been a mainstay. It will never go away. But I think now, like more than ever, I think the next best companies of the next 5 to 10 years are going to be the ones that have a great organic content strategy, and they're leveraging it across multiple channels. We've just talked about social. Social is definitely one big piece of this, but across on-site, across, anything else that you're doing, like organic content truly is like, I think the foundations of, any business's go-to-market strategy. So I would just encourage you to really like take it seriously and make sure that you're in getting your founder bought in, whether you're an individual business or you have, a larger company that you work for. Founder truly, I believe, should be embedded in most, if not all, content strategies for any business. And that's what we believe at Content Army. It's who we really focus on working with. But I think it also is the person that has typically the most knowledge of the business. And if you're not tapping into that, that's such a missed opportunity to just make something, I think, great. So that's my big takeaway, I think, on top of what you said.
And again, I've said this a few times, but I want to reiterate it. We're not saying, Blake, right, to stop doing any type of outbound or stop doing paid ads or stop doing any events or any other B2B marketing strategy. But we're saying invest in content and put that behind those strategies and look at what a powerful amplifier it will be.
Yeah, that's it. It truly is that. It's that you look at this as the support and sort of that push to make that just that much more effective. You have to have a full court press. It's literally like it has to be all things going. I think if that's your strategy, that's all to say. If cold email's never been what you do, great. I wouldn't say like you ever have to invest in it, but if you have an inside sales team, they should be wanting you to do this type of stuff and making their lives much easier as well. Like anecdotally, like the sales team at Attentive would tell me all the time, like you are doing the Lord's work by doing what you're doing. And what I was posting on social and out there evangelizing Attentive through content, that stuff had a way of, maybe, Attentive was a large organization. Not everyone's saying I heard about you through Blake, but there were a lot of brands who come in and go, yeah, I heard about you through Blake's content. Stuff like that. I'm like, those are the types of wins that you want to be seeing for your business. I love when I hear that anyone came in through organic social or seeing us. We talk about this dark social attribution,
Yes.
Multi-touch. It's a very Chris Walker kind of thing to say, but like, that's also what's at stake here is that like all the other things you mentioned, benefiting those other areas of how you're growing your business. Social is one of the best places to get started, but it has to have a strategy. And it cannot be just posting from the company's social. So I think that is, it truly is really like the biggest missed, I think, opportunity for any business as well.
I want to finish on one more thing as well. It's so critical that you just called out that dark social effect. I've worked with 5 9-figure businesses since we've started Marketing Monster. Now, there's not many of them around in e-commerce. 4 of those have been people who have never engaged with my content directly, but have reached out to me off the back of the content that I've created. So if you're creating content and you're starting to get discouraged thinking that no one's watching, trust me, there's a lot of really smart people in the background who aren't necessarily active engaging with things, but watching in the shadows. And don't overlook that, because they will start to take action over time, and you'll be pleasantly surprised who reaches out to you.
Couldn't agree more, man. At passive, engagement, that is really one of the biggest things. I think that it's where you see consistency wins out. That's why we always preach with our clients to be having a longer time horizon here, and you really will reap the rewards. I think I always tell people, like, when you think about marketing investments, the time horizon in which you look at it is everything. And I think if you're looking at like planting the seeds of what you might want to sow and be able to reap those rewards down the future, like, you need to be able to plant those seeds now. And I think in looking at 3 to 6 months from now, 6 to 12 months from now, as it continues to grow and evolve, there's going to be a lot of new opportunity for you for starting today. So yeah, thanks everyone for attending and listening to this. This was, I think, also a mastermind for Adam and I to talk through some of this stuff as well. So I think it's definitely the first of many, I think, of these discussions. I think also creating more free resources, I think, for the kind of everyone to have around B2B marketing is a big focus of ours at Content Army. So please, if you're interested in getting in touch with us, visit us, contentarmy.agency. You can also just DM us on LinkedIn, wherever you can find us. We're responsive. We'd love to talk to you. And yeah, we definitely appreciate everyone attending today. Let's get it.